you were actually part of and an honorary witness to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, looking at the experiences of residential school survivors, and you've been involved with them in many ways. And I know that hearing their stories sometimes, so you can forgive what happened to you, but then when you hear their stories, tell me about that journey of healing together, and sometimes the anger and the pain and all of that. What has that journey been like?
You know what? I was privileged, I think, to find myself in a leadership role in the healing movement for survivors of residential schools. All across this country, there are so many of us who didn't know that we were hurting that deeply and for so long. But once that silence was broken, we needed each other to hold each other up. And if we didn't, it would be very, very difficult to continue down the road. And so I found myself in positions that allowed me to be part of a lot of discussion, negotiations around reparation, around the apologies. As a matter of fact, I sat with the Prime Minister for half a day with 3 other survivors, and he asked us, what do you guys want in an apology?
Wow, what an
So we
honor.
told him what we wanted in an apology, and I was quite cynical, and I thought, he's just stringing us along again, right? But I was willing to take a chance that maybe he might hear some of it.
Did he hear some of it?
Oh my gosh, it was a home run apology.
Really?
And I know in my community that there's a division of opinion about whether it was genuine or good enough. The fact that the highest representative of our land said, we did all this and we're sorry, was so liberating. And I figured that for those who would still want to be angry because they didn't like the apologizer, that they would find somewhere in their healing journey the real validity of the apology, that somebody said, no, you're not crazy. Yes, you went through those things and they were wrong. And so you begin to accept the apology, right? And so receiving apologies is really important. They start moving you along this spectrum of forgiveness and then reconciling and then wanting the best for everybody, not just Aboriginal people, right? Mm. And I think the attraction of Reconciliation in Canada is because Reconciliation Canada is trying to create a mutual space for everybody. And we try to make it sacred by ceremony and other things. And we ask people to come into the circle, leave their titles behind them, hang them up by the door. Why don't we have a discussion as human beings? Real deep discussion. Tell me who you are. And I'm going to tell you who I am. And before you know it, some magic begins to happen and we begin to strip away all the biases and prejudice. And we discover there's something common called common humanity in all of us, right? We as Canadians can be role models to the world if we carry this reconciliation idea forward. Mm-hmm. And other people around the globe are watching us already and saying, well, what are they doing? It's different. They're not shooting at each other, but they're talking about reconciliation. And so what is it about that process that might be worth our looking at? So I think we can be a role model for the world. Right now we can't. We think we are. We're in our 150th birthday, and we want to celebrate. But if you ask the Aboriginal, he has little to celebrate, other than the idea we can bring to the table the gift of reconciliation and the promise of a better 150 if we reconcile, right?
We know, as you mentioned, this year we're celebrating 150 years since Confederation. What do you love about Canada?
I really, I've learned that most Canadians are good at heart. I've met so many now. And everywhere I've gone, I've spoken to big crowds, little crowds, sometimes they're in the thousands. And everybody's kind and they listen and they respond when they can. It tells me that we're caring and we have some compassion in this land that just needs to be tapped. We know something about love. At the heart of reconciliation is that one little word, love. We all love our children. It doesn't matter what origin we are, where we come from, what color we are. When we talk about our children, that's one place we understand that we all love our children. And there are many other common areas that we can identify as we talk about our values, in which we build resilience together to create better families and communities.
Chief Joseph, I love your heart and passion for reconciliation, and my prayer is that it's heard, that people hear your message of love, and that it catches on in this country. You are an inspiration.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.